In there for me, guys. Apologize for being a little bit late. Just wrapping up 120, 130 play scrimmage involving offense, defense, special teams. Played everybody in the squad, just about. I can't think of anyone that didn't get in. Overall impression, I think it's your common first scrimmage. You get excited about some things. You get frustrated with others. We need more consistency to our standard. I think we had some brilliant plays, some of physicality, of toughness, of execution and communication. We had some other ones that have a little more to be desired. All the quarterbacks, both quarterbacks played pretty well, but we're going to demand a lot more of them. The defense is ahead of the offense. Certainly, if you had to judge it by who actually won the scrimmage, I would say the defense did, but I would say the offense is certainly coming along and made a lot of plays as well. So all in all, I think it's great to talk to a group of young men that understand what our standard is and that they know, okay, this is scrimmage one, which we treat like game one. We have a game in 3 weeks, and we got to continue to get better and better. Came out of this with no injuries, it looks like, at least nothing major. So with that being said, open to questions.
All right, we'll start it off with James Crapia from the Oregonian.
Mario, with the top two quarterbacks, did either of them do anything particularly of note, lead touchdown drives or have any turnovers or anything? And did anyone other than Sean Dollars, was anybody else limited in any way?
No, Sean Dollars was limited. He'll be a full go on Monday. The both quarterbacks, they had their moments, both good and bad. Tough to say that there was any separation without looking at the tape. Got to make sure with the rotation of wide receivers and tight ends in there, if there was any issues in terms of the actual play itself and lining up and route running and everything. But they both had their moments. They both are guys that we feel that we can win with. Tyler took just about every rep with the ones, and Anthony took the reps with the twos. And, yep, that about sums it up for the quarterbacks.
Next question, A.J. Jacobson from Rivals.
Hey, Coach, I realize you haven't had the benefit of watching film yet of this, but, just based off what you just saw, who kind of stood out to you or surprised you?
Well, I thought our linebacking core, the older guys and the young guys, really stand out. They're physical. They communicate well. They get lined up. They play fast. They're gifted. They play fast. Jamal Hill really stood out to me today. Jamal Hill is a guy that, in recruiting Jamal Hill, we felt that we found ourselves a gem, a tremendous player, explosive, comes from an awesome family, loves the game. And he showed out today. He had a really, really important interception. So he definitely pops. I thought CJ and Travis, they ran well. They ran hard. I thought Trey Benson really showed up today as well. I love seeing DJ Johnson out there. DJ is healthy. He's a big man, and he could run, and he can catch. And he's really going to help us out. Patrick Herbert did a nice job. Isaac Slade continues to impress. Kayvon Thibodeau continues to be a problem, when he's out there. And it's not just third down on first and second down. He does really well. Probably one of the best plays of the day goes to Jordan Scott on a short yardage play. Jordan just did a great job just splitting a double team in the A-gaps and coming up with a tackle for loss on a critical short yardage play. So without watching film. I could go on with a few more, but those are some that come. I know Johnny Johnson also continues just he works so hard. He just gets better, makes plays.
Next question comes from Ashley Young, NBC Sports Northwest.
Coach Cristobal, you mentioned that there's no real winner and loser here, but you mentioned the defense kind of stepped up big today over the offense. How much of a difference do you see in having Gianmanor Lenore back in the secondary for you this year?
No, he was really good over the last 3 years, and this guy's come back as a purpose-driven human being now. He is you could always tell, right? The eyes, they never lie. And when you look in his eyes from when he's at practice or when he's attending meetings, this guy's he's on a mission. He's on a mission to be great. He's on a mission to be the best in the country. And by the way he has started off in our camp, I believe in him. We all believe in him. He's a great football player and getting better and hungry to get better.
Next question, Julian Minenson from KZI.
Hey, Coach Cristobal. Hope you're doing well on this Saturday. Just wanted to get your impression of the new offensive line guys.
Impressed with those guys. Really am. I thought, we threw a couple different guys in our left tackle. We all know about Steven, but through George Moore. George Moore has had a really, really good camp so far. TJ Bass jumped out there as well. I thought that Alex Forsythe he's been like the glue. Him and Ryan Walk have done a really good job getting those guys inside, solidified and just playing at a high level. But, you look at guys like Sala, and the young guys, Dennis and Harper. Patasi's been here a little bit. Jaramillo's been here for a little bit. They're gelling. They played a lot of the same positions for the past 4 or 5 days. Today we moved around a little bit on one of the sides, and they performed pretty well. I'm looking forward to looking at the tape from an alignment standpoint, split standpoint, playing with power, pad level, technique. But just judging from what I saw out there's definitely some progress that lends us to believe that's going to be a good offensive line, a really good offensive line.
Next question, Ryan Thorburn, the register guard.
Mario Kavon was saying the other day that, before his freshman year, his goal was to get 10 sacks. Before this year, his goal is to grade out to perfection. How big of a help is that to have your best player or one of your best players wanting to be coached really hard and to be an every down guy?
Well, when a guy wants to keep learning and getting better, it makes the locker room different. And it's something that we hit upon our players all the time, especially KT. It's, obviously, he's very talented, very gifted, extremely smart guy. I mean, future is, sky's the limit for him. And he has to continue to assume that role, that no matter what, he's going to be the hardest worker, that he's going to bring the best energy, that he's never going to be phased, right? That there is no penalty, that there is no a big play by the offense. No, there's nothing that we can't overcome. And he's got to bring that juice. He's done a really good job so far, and we're going to keep pressing and leaning on him to keep doing that.
Next question, Jerry Thompson, Ducks Illustrated. Jerry, you need to unmute yourself.
There we go. Okay, Coach. How about the kicking game? Did you get a chance to specifically field goals today?
Yeah, we missed one today. We missed one that we should have made, and we had been really good in practice. We had hit, I think, 14 of 16 leading up to today. And the one that we tried today, we didn't hit. I think we tried another one that we split the uprights on. We didn't kick any extra points. Kickoffs were good. Punts were okay. We like to average, in the 44, 45-yard range and hang them up there a little bit. We were close to it, not exactly up to the standard. But the coverage teams that go with them did really well. So, yeah, we've been doing good in the kicking game. Today, it wasn't what we expected, but we'll get back on track on Monday.
Next up, Eric Scopel from 247 Sports.
Hey, Mario. I guess you mentioned this is kind of a typical first scrimmage. You have another one scheduled next Saturday. What are typically some of the differences you see from scrimmage 1 to 2? Kind of what are you hoping to see there? And then on Monday, what kind of things are you hoping to see just in terms of the reaction after coming back from a big scrimmage on Saturday?
Yeah, the biggest difference in scrimmage 1 is that it's the first time the players are out there and they're by themselves, right? When you're playing ball and you're running all these unit drills, a team run, inside run, 7-on-7, half line pass. Coaches are, proximal to the players. They can bark out corrections and commands, and all of a sudden the players go out there and it's silence, And yesterday we try to get them used to that by having them out there and all the coaches off the field. And that's different. Now they got to be on autocorrect, right? I know that's a different year where there aren't many people in the stands. You're probably going to be able to communicate more verbally. But I think that's the biggest difference. So all of a sudden it was like, man, we got to do this on our own. And a lot of guys did well. I mean, a lot of guys they picked up where they left off last year. And other guys, they had their moments. 2-minute drill, right? There's a way to run 2-minute drill. When that ball is put down or that ball is chucked down the field, you better be flying, right? You better be getting there quickly and getting set. So I just think playing the game itself again and again and again, calling it, right? Our coordinators calling the game and getting in football mode, using the sidelines, like we do right now this year, you're 15 of the 15 and being able to walk that entire length. I just think all game day processes, which every single day we do them, every single day. We just got to keep just grinding on them. It comes down to that, right? And there's not a ton of time. There's not a ton. But overall, I feel good as to where we are. because of the hunger of the team, the drive and determination displayed by the team.
Next up, Matt Preem, 247 Sports.
Mario, Micah yesterday told us that he's playing more on the outside now instead of in the slot. I'm just kind of curious your thoughts on your receiving core and just what you've seen from this group and in particular today.
Well, Mike is playing all over the place. So he plays his normal slot position that he's played. He's played outside. He's played inside. He's an excellent football player. And he's another guy that, in terms of playing the game the way it's supposed to be played, he embodies that completely. He's always going to be a guy that outworks a competition. It's going to be physical, whether he has the ball in his hands or not. So overall, I mean, I can't help but mention Chris Hudson. Chris Hudson has made a ton of plays out there, and he's made plays inside and outside. So in this offense, whether I know typically for us here, we've had smaller slots, right? Well, in this offense, you've got to have interchangeable parts because of the way that we use our personnel, and sometimes we may be misplacing personnel to create matchups. So, but he's 6. I thought, of course, Jalen Redd has always been a great player for us. But I think that both Chris Hudson and Josh Delgado deserve some mention as well. He had a couple big catches out there today.
Next question, back to James Crapia from the Oregonian.
Or typically first scrimmages can be run heavy for everywhere across the country. It goes with that. Was that the case? And with that in mind, CJ was also talking the other day about just how he's approaching this year, wants to get to 1,000 yards again, even with a shortened season. Fair to say he's certainly the most accomplished returning player you have on offense. What do you expect to see from him in a shortened season?
Statistically, I can't say I look for anything in particular. I like seeing the CJ that we know, the one that we have seen play for the last few years, just, complete package at running back, and a guy that, Coach Mirabal had a great message for the team today. If you're here, it's because you have opted to be in, and being in is being all in. And CJ is another guy that embodies that. So his leadership's going to be counted upon. The way he runs, the way he catches the ball out of the backfield, and the way he protects. I mean, we feel he's one of the best in the country, and it's infectious. The other backs really, they feel his game. They feed off of it. Those guys are some of the best juice guys, energizing guys on the sideline. So CJ is invaluable, James. He's about as good as I've been around, as not only as a player but as a teammate. It's so important. Like you mentioned, it's a shortened year. This thing is, I don't know what the percentage breakdown is. Of course, we're playing football, but there's a lot more to this, right? We're all dealing with a pandemic. You've got to have protocol. You've got to carry the protocol out of the building and take it home with you, create your own bubbles. I've heard all the cliches. You've got to be able to just be disciplined, man, And I think he brings that to the table, and he impacts others in the way that he carries himself.
Next question, AJ Jacobson from Rivals.
Coach, obviously this has been one of the strangest of off seasons ever. Given that, where would you say this team is, after week one, after the first scrimmage versus the first two seasons, your first two fall camps here?
Oh, you know what? I don't see much of a difference. I see some things that we're probably a little bit ahead on, and some things that were maybe not up to par yet. And we've been practicing, and we were able to ramp up probably quicker than what we thought. We thought that we would have to keep, and we've kept our routines where we had to modify them some because we didn't have that long stretch of training leading up to camp. But the way that these guys, their outputs, their numbers, their workloads and accelerations and high-speed running on the GPS system, it lends us to trust and believe that they're in better shape than what we thought they would be. And so they've been able to maintain a high level of performance in practice. That helps, okay? I thought tackling might be an issue today, and I saw some good tackling. I saw some that we have to clean up. There's no question about it. I saw some really good tackling. I saw that we need to learn how to practice, to relearn how to practice thud, which is staying up and going full speed, because sometimes we're ending up on the ground, and we can't do that. We don't have enough bodies. That's where you end up getting hurt, when guys are on the ground and getting rolled up. So, again, I think it's very comparable. I don't see much of a difference in this point in our camp this year as opposed to the other couple of years.
Next question, Julian Minenson from KZI.
You talked about giving yourself and the guys on the team more time to watch college football over these last few weeks. I'm just curious, how much does that help specifically for these scrimmages, seeing other teams across the country in in-game situations, and now you guys are starting your, I guess, in-game situations with these scrimmages?
Well, I think anytime you can learn a lesson without feeling the consequences, it certainly helps. And it also, from an excitement, right, enthusiasm, a Jew standpoint, it's real now. We're about to be on that stage, right? We're now 3 weeks away, 21 days, whatever it may be. So it's what we do, right? It's what we do. It's our passion. And I mean, we watch football anytime, anywhere, any place. The fact that, we've been able to have for the most part around the country, success in playing out this season. It gets our guys excited. They get to see situations. If we find a situation that we think is learning, a teaching moment, we'll cut it up, we'll bring it in, we'll discuss it and break it down as a team. And sometimes we might rep it in practice that way. We might choreograph that particular situation and try to build that muscle memory. So if that does come up, we can respond appropriately and end up on the right side of the win column.
We got time for two more. Next up is Ryan Thorburn from the Register Guard.
Mario, I was curious, with no fans in attendance this year, do you bother piping in artificial noise for scrimmages, or do you just kind of go in silence?
No, it's a great question. We're waiting on the ruling for the ambient noise, what can be used or not. Once that's in effect, we'll be able to crank that out or crank that up as the conference sees fit. But it's been really important for us to practice in a just empty stadium. And honestly, you want to recruit players, coaches, staff that are okay with that, if that was the norm, quite honestly. Guys that would love football so much you'd play it outside or in a parking lot anywhere, Now, that being said, we all know there is no place like Hudson Stadium. And so since our people, our family, can't be there, we have to bring it, right? We have to, when we pack our bags on Friday to go to the hotel or to travel, we've got to pack our juice. We got to pack our enthusiasm. We got to pack our own Hudson and unleash it come game day. And you have to practice that. You have to practice sustaining juice and energy throughout practice. And you have to create practice periods that require you to respond, right, in a place that's empty, that doesn't have a crowd, where you have got to create your own momentum. So all in all, it's we've been preparing for it, and I think we're going to benefit a lot from that.
Final question goes to Matt Preem, 247 Sports.
Yeah, Mario, haven't heard much discussion from a couple guys. One, Jonah along the offensive line. I know there was a lot of optimism when he signed with you. Kind of what's the status with him? And then receiver spot with Waters and Wilhoit. I know you were very high on them prior to their injuries in camp last year. Just kind of where are they from a development standpoint?
Sure. Well, in Jonah's case, he got a little dinged up, so we've been holding him out. We don't think it's anything serious. We expect him to be back. So in the meantime, others have gotten reps there. In terms of the other spot, I think some other wide receivers have stepped up. You can't deny the way that Johnny and Red and Micah Pittman have been playing, and Chris Hudson. We're trying to get some other guys to get going. We really need to get JR and Will Hoyt and Devin Williams going. There's a lot of potential there, certainly a lot of ability, and they are getting reps. But at this point right now, we feel that that's where it's at. Got to keep getting better, got to keep repping and create playmaking opportunities. And when they do come their way, they got to make them happen.
Thank you, Coach. Appreciate your time.
Okay, guys. Thank you. Have a blessed day. Stay safe.
Thank you, Coach.